Nearly 100 bodies recovered from Kebbi boat mishap. Zamfara government and state police command rescue 11 kidnapped victims. In international news, India sees light at the end of the tunnel, reopens major cities as COVID cases decline. And in sport, Roger Federer pulls out of French Open.
This is ANN News.
I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Kebbi State Governor Atiku Bagudu has confirmed that at least 97 bodies have been recovered from the recent boat mishap at Wara Gaski local government area of the state. A boat conveying traders, artisan miners and other passengers from Lokon Mina, Niger State capsized at Wara Gaski Kebbi on Wednesday and claimed more than 100 lives. Meanwhile, the governor has pledged a bigger deployment of security forces on Sunday after attackers killed 88 persons in 8 villages on Thursday. Bagudu said on Sunday the attackers had come from neighboring Niger and Zamfara states. 11 kidnapped victims in Zamfara state have been rescued by the combined efforts of the state government and the state police command. The victims were abducted on Friday near Wamaza village along Guzuzaria Road in Safa local government area of the state. State Police Command spokesman Mohammed Shehu said in a statement the victims, who are Katsina state residents, were returning from markets in Gumi when they were abducted by suspected armed bandits. Shehu said police operatives along with the state government's peace committee and some repentant bandits stormed the forest into which the bandits had taken the victims and rescued all of them. He said the victims have been medically checked and have since been reunited with their families. The spate of kidnappings in the country is at an alarming rate. Many of the country's highways have become traps for the traveling public, and no class in society is safe from the kidnappers. The country is on edge. Correspondent Tessie Makinde reports on the surging cases of kidnappings.
Tarsi Gata and her husband Nehemiah have been kidnapped not just once but several times. They used to live in a particularly dangerous suburb of Jos where kidnapping is on the rise. Tarsi identifies their abductors as members of the Fulani tribe, blamed by several groups as driving the surge of crime in Nigeria. She believes the repeated invasions were a deliberate move to have them relocate from the area. Luckily for the Gatas, friends and family helped pay the ransom each time they were kidnapped.
They just came and put the gun on us and said, go, we must go. And I told my husband, because I know my husband has health issues, I told him, stay, let me go. But I was so angry as we traveled through the night. They took me to another different route this time. And it seems the people are not all of them know the route. They don't know the terrain. We keep missing ourselves on the road, in the bush. So that at a time, we had to sleep on the ground without reaching their camp.
Kidnapping for ransom has become big business in Nigeria. The Kaduna state government in the country's northwest says 949 people were kidnapped in the state in the first quarter of 2021 alone. A non-governmental organization in the country, Inter-Society, says more than 2,000 people have been abducted in Nigeria this year. Experts point to the sheer numbers of people joining criminal gangs specializing in kidnapping.
You have more people being recruited into banditry, kidnapping, than you have into the security services in the country. In the south, you're talking about millions. And then even their targets are not just commuters in commercial buses like they do in northwest, where they just stop a commercial bus and pick the people. They target prominent people.
Analysts say kidnapping is a quick money maker for bandits in the northwest, but it's about resource control in the Niger Delta region and a means of pursuing ideology in the northeast.
what you had in the Niger Delta was agitation for resource control first. They wanted a situation whereby they will inflict some pain and then get the attention of the federal government. That was different. But Northeast, its ideology, whatever made them come into kidnapping started differently. They do it now for not for ransom, but for as a bargaining chip. You're holding our commanders. Give us our people, you know, and then we'll give you back the kidnapped children. Not necessarily for money, because in the Northeast, their source of funding, you know, until lately was very far away from kidnapping.
Tassigata and her husband have been forced to put their house on sale and move to a safer part of town.
It's a dream house that we have been working on for years, just trying to improve it a little bit at a time, thinking of retirement, thinking of maybe this is going to be our old age residence, where we're going to be going about with our grandchildren and stuff like that. But all those is no longer happening.
The Nigerian government says it is working hard to address the problem of kidnapping and other security concerns in the country. One such measure is the presidential green light for security personnel to shoot at anyone in possession of firearms illegally. Another government initiative involves amnesty for repentant insurgents and financial incentives to get legitimate small-scale businesses off the ground. Regional authorities are also trying to coordinate more while beefing up legislation for state policing. For now, Tassigata and her husband are trying to stay out of harm's way, knowing that their own personal safety is something they no longer take for granted.
The Association of Onions Producers, Processors and Marketers of Nigeria says it will stop supply to the entire South from today, Monday, unless certain conditions laid by the association are met. National President of the association, Alhaji Aliyu Isa, said onion marketers have suffered a loss of 4.5 billion naira after their goods and properties were destroyed by suspected hoodlums across the southern states in the last few months. The association says loss of lives of members have also occurred without any compensation. The association wants state governors to collaborate with the federal government to look into the root causes of alleged numerous attacks on its members. Coming up, African stories. Cryptocurrency trading increases in Ghana despite central bank's danger warnings. And later, international news. India sees light at the end of the tunnel, reopens major cities as COVID cases decline.
You are watching ANN.
What's the difference between regular data and MTN data? I'll show you. With regular data, you get this. But with MTN data, you get moved right into the action, like this. And this. And this. And this. With MTN data, you don't just get more, you experience more. Need loads of data to live your dream? Turn it up on MTN, the reliable data network.
Welcome back. This is in news. President Yoweri Museveni has delivered his State of the Nation address in Parliament, in which he highlighted the economic growth, crediting improved infrastructure such as road networks and electricity for the expansion. The president says 58% of the country's roads are being tarmacked using government not donor funds, which is part of Uganda's plan to become self-reliant. Correspondent Hilary Ayesiga reports.
A new term with a new mandate. President Yoweri Museveni has laid out his strategy to revive the economy.
Again, to remind everybody, the answers are four on the issue of the market. The internal market of Uganda, boosted by increased purchasing power, when all homesteads join the money economy by producing for the stomach, but also for producing for the pocket. Secondly, the East African market through the East African community. Thirdly, the African market through the continental free trade area. And fourthly, the global market.
Uganda is still battling the effects of the coronavirus. President Yoweri Museveni says in the next 5 years, he will be pushing to revive the country's economy, which has been hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. Government figures show that the country's economic growth has fallen to 3.3% from the projected 6.3% in this financial year because of coronavirus. The Ugandan president also promised to wipe out corruption in government agencies.
The cost of electricity is distorted by the mistakes committed by some of our actors without my knowledge, even when I was heading the government. Especially the mistakes of Bujagari and Umeme add 55.3% to the cost of electricity per unit.
But the legislators want the president to do more in curbing corruption.
The president has to come up and say, everybody who is going to be caught up stealing money, this is what is going to happen to him. We really cannot continue lamenting. So the president should come out open and say whether you are a general, whether you are a minister, whether you are my vice president, if you are implicated, I will dismiss you. That is more appealing.
The president also promised to fight rising crime in the country. A few days ago, there was an attempted assassination on a key government official. The president is hoping his actions will restore confidence in the business community and help the economy to bounce back.
Despite warnings by the Bank of Ghana on the dangers of investing in cryptocurrency, trading has been on the rise in the country. Ghana's Securities and Exchange Commission says Ghanaians should be aware they could lose funds in such transactions. Correspondent Nabi Ahmed Rafai has the story.
Nick Owusu has been trading in cryptocurrency for 6 years.
Your bank account, as it were, in Bitcoin.
He uses the digital currency for transactions such as money transfers and investments online.
This is a type of currency whose price at any point in time is determined by the forces of demand and supply. So if the demand for Bitcoin goes up, the value also goes up. If the demand for Bitcoin reduces, the value goes down.
There is a growing trend among Ghanaians trading in cryptocurrency due to the high return on investments. But the central bank says it is illegal because it is not regulated.
When you have a currency whose value is so unstable, really, you really cannot use it effectively to meet any of the standard functions of money. And this is why I think there is a lot more emphasis on looking at digital money, which is backed by the state, backed by the central banks.
Last year, cryptocurrency transfers to and from Africa reached more than $300 million, with Nigeria, South Africa and Kenya doing most of the transactions. Owusu says Ghana can also take advantage as the popularity of cryptocurrency trade grows.
By looking at the series of this transaction, you are able to bring in a lot of people who are unbanked in the country. And once you can find a way to regulate these activities, it provides an avenue for revenue generation for the state.
Still, there are concerns about people using cryptocurrency for fraudulent activities such as money laundering. Ghana's central bank has warned people not to trade with cryptocurrencies for now. It says it is in the process of introducing a digital currency which will be safer to use for trading than Bitcoin. Analysts, however, do not want the central bank to rule out trading in cryptocurrency entirely, but rather find ways of regulating it.
The time has come for the regulator, which is the Bank of Ghana, to bring in experts. We can secure the services of experts from Europe, America, Israel to come in and then build the capacity of some people who are into financial technology to take it up. So those people can engage as players and also engage as help the regulator also manage the activities of crypto in Ghana.
Nick Owusu agrees. He says trading in cryptocurrency will continue to happen despite the warnings against it. He strongly believes if it is regulated, Ghana's economy will benefit.
Trading, and that is how the interface.
When we return, international news. India sees light at the end of the tunnel, reopens major cities as COVID cases decline. And later, sport. Roger Federer pulls out of French Open.
You are watching ANN. Somewhere in the world, every second of the day, news is happening. And of course, Nigeria is bustling with news day and night. That is why ANN doesn't sleep. Our eyes are peeled, wide open, so no story escapes our radar. We stay abreast of world events and happenings at home. We keep you up to the minute in the world of sports. We give you information to stay on top of your investments and all the hard facts you'll need to navigate your day. If you miss us on air, you can keep up to date on our website and on our social media platforms, Instagram and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. We are ANN, Africa News Network. We do news right in a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. India has eased COVID-19 restrictions in some of its biggest cities as coronavirus infections in the country fell to a 2-month low of 100,500. This follows several days of 400,000 plus cases in May and more than 2,400 deaths. The country was dealing with record-breaking numbers of cases and deaths that pushed it to the position as second worst hit nation after the United States with just under 29 million infections. Authorities in Delhi and Mumbai, as well as other cities and states, imposed restrictions on movement and activities to combat the surge. Delhi Chief Minister Alleges has ordered half of the capital's shops to open on odd and even-numbered days of the month in a bid to limit crowds, while Delhi offices are allowed to run at half their capacity. UK Health Minister Matt Hancock says the government is open to delaying the set date of June the 21st for lifting all coronavirus lockdown restrictions. He stressed this as COVID-19 cases continue to surge in the country. There are also reports that Prime Minister Boris Johnson is considering delaying the lifting of restrictions by at least 2 weeks to allow vaccination of more people against the Indian variant. Hancock admitted the emergence of the variant in the UK had caused the need for the extension of the lockdown. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has denied accusations of incitement in the just concluded elections that propelled Isaac Herzog to the country's presidency. Netanyahu, who has been in power for 12 years, has also described as election fraud the newly formed Israeli coalition. He said in comments to legislators from his right-wing Likud party that the country just witnessed the greatest election fraud in the history of the country. Nationalist Naftali Bennett, set to replace Netanyahu as prime minister, announced with opposition leader Yair Lapid that they had formed a governing coalition with factions from across the political spectrum following an inconclusive election in March, the country's fourth in 2 years. Under a rotation due, Bennett will be the first to serve as prime minister under the coalition, followed by Lapid. No date has been set for a parliament vote to approve the new government. Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed a law that will take the country out of the Open Skies Arms Control Treaty, a move that could affect prior expectations that Putin and U.S. President Joe Biden will discuss the pact at their summit later this month in Geneva. U.S. former President Donald Trump had rescinded America's membership in the pact last year, and Biden had upheld that stand. Putin was hoping Biden would reverse Trump's decision, but the current U.S. administration has accused Russia of violating the pact. Russia has denied any violations. A horrific passenger train accident in southern Pakistan has claimed 50 lives and many more injured on Sunday. The rare carriages of a northbound Millat Express train derailed and drifted to the parallel track, colliding with a southbound train. Officials say at least 40 bodies have been recovered. More than 60 persons were injured, 25 of whom are said to be in critical condition in various hospitals. Officials say the accident is being investigated. Pakistan has a long history of train disasters, attributed by some to poor infrastructure and a lack of safety standards.
Up next, sport. Roger Federer pulls out a French Open. Please stay with us.
You are watching ANN.
We are on the road every day, canvassing throughout Africa for news you really need. We follow this story everywhere, from every corner of Nigeria to the wide African expanse. We bring you what's making headlines. We connect you with news you can use. ANN, African News Network, in a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. In sport, world tennis champion 39-year-old Roger Federer has withdrawn from the French Open to concentrate on his plans to win a 9th Wimbledon title. The 20-time Grand Slam title winner says with 2 new surgeries and more than a year of rehabilitation, it is important he listen to his body. He gave up his slot on Monday, during which he was to face Matteo Berrettini for a quarterfinals showdown. The United States has defeated Mexico 3-2 on Sunday to win the inaugural CONCACAF Nations League, coming from behind twice, from 1-0 and from 2-1 down to extra time and then a win. This is the U.S.'s second victory in 7 tournament finals against Mexico, the first since 2007 Gold Cup. That is ANN News this evening, and thank you for joining us. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Have a great evening.